Have you ever been so angry that you felt like you were about to explode? Like your blood was boiling and you just wanted to scream at the top of your lungs? Well, that's exactly how Tyla felt when she found out that her ex-boyfriend, Chris Brown, had gotten a tattoo of his ex-girlfriend Rihanna on his neck instead of her. Now, I know what you're thinking. How could someone do that to their partner? Especially after everything that Chris and Rihanna had been through in the past. But the truth is, the heart wants what the heart wants, and sometimes, people make decisions that don't make any sense to the rest of us. Let me take you back to the beginning of this story. Tyla and Chris had been together for a few years, and by all accounts, they were the perfect couple. They were always posting cute photos together on social media, they went on lavish vacations, and they seemed to have this undeniable chemistry that everyone around them could feel. But behind the scenes, things weren't always as perfect as they seemed. Tyla had always been a bit insecure in the relationship, especially when it came to Chris's past with Rihanna. She knew that they had a tumultuous history, and she was always worried that Chris would one day go back to his ex-girlfriend. And that's exactly what happened. One day, Tyla was scrolling through Instagram when she came across a post that made her heart drop. It was a photo of Chris, and he had a new tattoo on his neck, a portrait of Rihanna. Tyla couldn't believe her eyes. She felt like she had been punched in the gut, and she immediately started to panic. She called Chris, demanding an explanation, but he was evasive and defensive. He tried to downplay the significance of the tattoo, saying that it was just a tribute to his past and that it didn't mean anything. But Tyla wasn't buying it. She knew that there was more to the story, and she was determined to get to the bottom of it. Over the next few days, Tyla's anger and hurt only grew. She couldn't stop thinking about the tattoo, and she started to obsess over it. She would stare at the photo for hours, trying to figure out what it all meant. And then one day, Tyla finally got the answers she was looking for. She found out that Chris and Rihanna had been secretly meeting up, and that they had even discussed the possibility of getting back together. Tyla was devastated. She felt like her whole world was crumbling around her, and she didn't know what to do. In a fit of rage, Tyla decided to confront Chris. She showed up at his house, ready to give him a piece of her mind. And that's when the real fireworks started. Tyla started yelling and screaming, her voice shaking with emotion. She accused Chris of betraying her, of breaking her heart, and of being a liar. She told him that she couldn't believe that he would do this to her, especially after everything they had been through together. But Chris just stood there, his arms crossed, a smug look on his face. He didn't even try to defend himself or apologize. Instead, he just laughed in Tyla's face, telling her that she was being ridiculous and that she needed to get over it. That was the final straw for Tyla. She completely lost it, and she started throwing things at Chris, screaming and cursing at the top of her lungs. The neighbors could probably hear her all the way down the street, but Tyla didn't care. She was so consumed by her anger and her hurt that she couldn't think straight. Eventually, the police were called, and Tyla was escorted out of Chris's house. But even then, she didn't stop. She continued to rant and rave, telling anyone who would listen about what Chris had done to her. In the days and weeks that followed, Tyla's anger only seemed to intensify. She couldn't sleep, she couldn't eat, and she couldn't focus on anything else. All she could think about was the tattoo, and how Chris had betrayed her in the worst possible way. Because at the end of the day, Tyla's story was not just about her own personal pain and anger. It was about something much bigger. It was about the way that women are often treated in relationships, about the way that their feelings and their experiences are often dismissed or minimized. And by sharing her story, Tyla hoped that she could inspire others to speak up, to stand up for themselves, and to demand the respect and the love that they deserve. She wanted to be a voice for all the women out there who had been through similar experiences, and to show them that they were not alone.